All right, guys, I'm here. Just trying to figure out for this. Let's just go to there. I forgot the shortcuts. So yeah, hi guys. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to be taking a look at the CSS Grid. Also, please let me know if there's any audio problems or video problems. I have the chat open, so I'll be keeping an eye on that as I record. Oh no, you're gonna hear me in a second. Okay. So what? Yeah, just let me. The video will probably not be too hot with this because my webcam's not the best. But once we go to my screen, just let me know if you can't see the code or anything like that. So yeah, we're looking at the CSS Grid, but before I do that, just thank you so much for those who are here. That's pretty awesome. I can't see how many are here right now. Let's see. I think there's like 80 of you, which is pretty, 12, I don't know. 8 people right now, which is really good. So thank you so much for showing up. And we're at over 1,000 subscribers. I had originally wanted to do this as like a 1,000 subscriber thank you type of video. We're at more than that, so I'm a little bit late. Life got in the way a little bit, but we're here. So thanks again to everybody. Awesome, it looks like everything is good. Cool, thank you for letting me know. So yeah, we're gonna be looking at the CSS Grid. So let me just pull up what we're actually gonna be looking at. Here we go. That's better. And let me just to make sure that this is an example of one of the things I want to build. Now, I have never used the CSS Grid. I did one CodePen like 2 months ago when it was still experimental. Really basic, was more basic than this layout just to try it. I've been wanting to play with it a lot. I haven't had a lot of time, but I also wanted to save it for this video. So I've really been looking forward to this. Hi guys, I see there's a whole bunch of you here now. So Saeed, Ravila, sorry, Zakir, Ray, I see you're there, Ed. Sheldon, thank you all for showing up. Mark, Brian, really appreciate it that you guys are here while it's live. It's cool. It's fun having a live audience. So I want to start just doing a basic layout like that. And if we get through that in time, I'm going to try and make this. I'm hoping to be able to do both. This design is something that I stumbled across. Let's see if I can find it here. On Dribble, and I saw this and I thought it looked really nice, so I just won, and I thought it would work well with the grid with these offsets here. We used to have to do annoying things with margins and stuff, so I thought the grid would be a nice thing to do, so this is what we're going to be looking at. Well, not this one, this is the one I was inspired by, and this was by Nathan Riley, so really getting the design inspiration from him. But as I said, this is what we'll be trying to create, or I'll be trying to create, hopefully, but we're starting with the basic layout because I need to figure out what I'm doing. I literally have no idea how to use this. I was reading some documentation to get ready, and I have been doing quite a bit of reading, but I haven't practiced yet, so it might be a bit of a disaster, but I hope it goes well. So we'll get rid of that. I'll move this over so I can see the chat. Yeah. Do I know Vue.js? I've played with, this is Ray asking, I have, but I haven't done very much of it. I wouldn't be comfortable right now anyway making a video. Hi, Angelique. Nanuet, New York, cool, hi. And yeah, I can definitely feel, I'm a little bit nervous. The whole live stream thing, it's different, having a live audience. If I screw up now, I can't edit it out. It's weird. Can get rid of that now. So a few of the things I'm going to be using, I'm actually going to be using Firefox Developer Edition. And there's a good reason for that. So let's actually open that up. With the Developer Edition, so far, they're the only ones to implement this. I do believe others will be. But when you do an inspect element, you can see here display grid, and there's this, let's make this a bit bigger. There's this little icon here, and if I do that, you can actually see the grid show up on the screen. So that's really cool, and I think will be really, really handy. I've heard that other browsers are going to be implementing it. Normally I'm using Chrome, but I will be using this here with my the Firefox Developer Edition for this video on doing my layout. Other things I'm using, and all these links are in the description below. I'm going to be using the CSS Tricks complete guide to the grid. I think this will help me. When I started learning Flexbox, their complete guide was really, really helpful, so I'll be looking at that. One thing I did want to mention though is they do mention the subgrid in here. So I'm hoping it's not the only thing that's out of date, but I know that the subgrid is something that is planned for but doesn't exist yet. So here's just on the Mozilla site, the subgrid, it's not implemented in any browsers yet. So can't use the subgrid. I just pulled this up to show browser support is here. It's not bad. Obviously, with older versions of Safari and Android, it's not there. And of course, Internet Explorer and Edge have some use cases, but the grid is here. It's fully implemented pretty much, which is pretty awesome. And I want to start building some layouts with it from now on. I plan on having a more thorough video maybe in a month-ish from now, once I have a better idea of what I'm doing. I'm also going to be looking at this site probably. It's called gridbyexample.com. They have some nice examples and stuff. So if ever I get stuck, I can always come in and check out some of this stuff on here. I think it might be useful. And with all that done, I can get started. So I've created a file here already because I didn't want to spend too much time on this where I'm importing some fonts and everything. Everything here is set up to be going with my Photoshop file. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by the video on the side. Wow, we're up to 14 people. Thanks guys for showing up once again. Really exciting to have people watching live. So this is what I'm going to do first, but I've set it all up to use these fonts, and my colors and all of that are set up already, so we don't have to putz around with that. We're just working on the grid. So yeah, this is just some basic styles and everything that I've done in here for my typography. I've just had this, my basics CSS file that will be my basic stuff, and then my layout where I'll actually build my layout. And then right now I have nothing in my HTML file, so I can start working on that. And I'm actually going to bring Photoshop back up. Whoops, there we go. I just want to tuck this away so I can sort of keep it referenced what I'm trying to build. Yes, this should be mobile. The grid is fully mobile. It's, from what I understand, it's something that should be fully mobile. It also works really well with Flexbox. So I don't think I'll need Flex at all in this, but it should be something that works. As I said, I haven't used it, but I've been looking into it, so I know some of the units we can use. So you can use percentages and M's and all of that for your width, but they also have the FR unit, which is a new unit, which will be pretty cool, I think. So let's get started. I'm going to start just with a container to hold this layout in. Actually, I made my grid here. I tried to break this into grids and then rows. So 1, 2, 3 rows and then 12 column grid, because a 12 column grid is sort of the normal. But I think we're going to have to change our mindset a little bit on how the column grid systems work with using it. Maybe I'm wrong, but here like my 2 empty ones don't make much sense. I should just have this as one big empty one on each side. And even then that can just be, this should just be like a container, and then my grid's inside the container. Anyway, we'll see. Let's try this out and see what happens. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, just so I can practice this a little more, is I'm going to have all of this inside a container. So this will go, I'll make a container that's like this, and then just something, so we can have like inside my grid something that's bigger than the rest of the content, since this is just for practice purposes. So we'll do a dot container. So my div class container, and if you guys have any suggestions or any things that you'd like me to try while I'm doing this, please tell me in the chat. I would be very, very glad to help out, or just answer questions and all of that along the way. So in my container, already I don't know exactly what I need to do. I need 3 rows. 1, 2, I'm just trying to think the best way to do this. And I'm actually going to go back to the CSS tricks. I'm going to just look at this, because here they have their 3 columns. Now you can see they're using percentages, pixels, and you can also use auto. And then this is completely new to me, so I do have to think about this more. It's not natural. I did used to build websites using tables, so I'm sort of having to fall back to that mentality, but that was probably in the late 90s when it was a hobby of mine. So I'm way, this is just something right now that I'm trying to wrap my mind around. You can choose to explain, note the yeah, you can name things too, which is interesting. I don't think I'm going to name them for now, but I just don't know what the value of naming them is. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I need that open actually. I do need, there we go. Just shove this here on the side, even lower, move this up a little bit. Okay. So my container, now I'm going to go to my layout. So my container, I need to figure this out. Okay, so we need a grid template columns. So yeah, what I was thinking is I need 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This would be a 1 and a 1, I guess. I'm having trouble breaking this up properly in my head. Wow, I didn't think this would be so hard. Maybe I should have planned this a little bit more. Should I just do the 12? There's a way of doing this where I can repeat. I think I'm going to do the repeating thing, but I forget how it works. Does it in here, the repeat? Repeat. This is what I want. Okay, this might be what I want. This might be what I want. Repeat. So I'm going to do 12 columns, and maybe from there we'll try simplifying it. So if I have 12 columns, so I want a repeat. I'm guessing it's 12, 1 FR, and I'll look at the FR in a second. 1 FR. Is that it? Why is there a 5% here at the end? Which 20, 20, 20, and then the 5. I just want, yeah, that's all I want. So I'm going to save that. So I'm making a 12 column grid now. I think this will make the most sense. We'll find out in a second. And I'm also going to just give this a width of 960 pixels just to make my life easy, and a margin of 0 auto. And background of red because I want to see it, and I want to give it a height of like 500 pixels. I'm going to delete this in a second. I just want to see if this is working. There it is. So I'm going to do my inspect element, and oh, I forgot something important. Before I say that, I have to say it's display grid. That would help. It's compiling, but where's my... Let's move this up. Display grid. And my grid's nothing. Okay, let's also give it some rows. Grid template rows. I'm going to do like 100 pixels across the top, and then not 50%. 1 FR. 1 FR. Are these supposed to be comma separated? Yeah, thanks, Ed. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, sorry, Ed. I just saw your comment now, and I was missing that. But thank you. And RAM, thank you. I'm glad that you like my designs. I appreciate it. Okay, so I still don't see a grid showing up in there. Maybe it's the color. Oh, I don't think it's the color. I just think I'm not doing this properly. This might be a complete disaster of a video, guys. Let's go back up to here. No, okay. 25%, 100 pixels auto. So this, maybe it's not understanding the FR, but I'm sure FR works. But let's just do, I don't know, 10%. No, it's gonna be too big. 5%. I just want to see if this helps at all. Or even just do 10 pixels. 10 pixels. 10 pixels. Whoops. Back over to here. It says it's updating, but it's not. Oh, see, I have a mistake here, but it's understand row. It's probably supposed to be rows, right? Oh, okay, awesome. It's working. Good. So I can see my grid is working. So let's just switch this back to 1FR. I want to see if... There we go. 1FR is working. Awesome. Ah! I've achieved something. Awesome. Thanks, Sheldon. It's not a problem if it's a disaster, yeah. If you want to see the grid, you need to go to the dev. Yeah, I did that already. It just, I'd had something that wasn't working. I don't know what it was. And then this can be 1FR. So if you don't know what an FR is, it's a cool unit. It's their fractional unit. 1FR, 1FR. Ha, there we go. So I have a grid now, guys. Sweet. So we're getting there. So I'm just going to put a space here so we can sort of separate the two things. So what this is doing, I know the 1FR is just using the amount of space that's available. It's a fractional unit. I don't know if it stands, you read around, there's like the something length. I think it stands for fraction. So I have 12, so they're all going to be equal. Let's just say I made this one 2. And then a 1. So this is twice as big as this one. And if I made that 3, it would be 3 times as big. And it's using whatever the leftover space is. So I have a height of 500 pixels, and this is 100. So I have 400 left over. So it's just using that space that I have left. And if it's 1 and 1, they'll be equal. And you can play around with it a little bit like that. So cool. I'm happy about that. So let's go back to my index, and let's go back to Photoshop for a second. So I want to have one thing that goes all the way across the top. So I'm going to just call this one my header. And we'll just put header. I'm not going to be going crazy here. I just want something really simple. Then I'm going to have these two here. So this will just be like I'll have my main content and a dot sidebar. Okay, I think now the disaster's over. I think I have everything under control. Main content. Yeah, we're learning together. Good. I hope I'm guessing Ed, you have experience with the grid. Does anyone else here ever played with it yet? I'm curious. Let me know if you have or haven't played with it yet. Sidebar, and then here we'll have. So I'm just gonna space this out so we can sort of. Okay, and then here I'm just gonna have like a 50%. We'll call it left and right for some really non-semantic names, or overly semantic maybe. Left side and right side. So the cool thing with this, with the grid, from what I've seen of it or read about it anyway, let's save that. So here I have my header, and I can just tell it to take up what I want it to take up. Then I have, I have my grid, and I can just say be here on the grid. This is where you live on the grid. So I don't need to worry about these empty spaces. I can just position it in the exact spot that I need it to be. So yeah, let's see. And so this, I think, is all the markup I need just to build something like that. And we could always put a footer on there or something too. So what I want to do now, and actually another thing that I'm going to do, I do want some space between all of these. Cool. So only a couple people are answering, but I'm hopefully, if you haven't played with it yet, I would suggest you try and, if you have the time to play with it, because it will, I think, is going to be really handy, but it looks like it might be, I keep going to the wrong window there, sorry. I don't need this either. I'm so used to going to Chrome, and I don't want to be going to Chrome. I think it's going to be pretty handy. So right now it's not working at all. We can see just all my text there. Interestingly, it's sort of floating. Each one is just falling into one of those grids by default, which is kind of cool. Oh, I did want Chrome for a second though, because I want this. I should just open this up in Firefox actually and just put this in a tab. So I just don't have to worry about Chrome anymore. What I want to do is put some gap on there. I think it's grid gap, something like that. Let's see if I can find gap. I think, can't you do them all in one though? Just like grid gap? Yeah, you can. Okay, cool. So let's bring this back up. So just to show you what I'm going to do now, here, let's add a grid gap. Grid gap of like 10 pixels. And I should, there we go, I get the 10 pixel space between everything. Yeah, and because I haven't assigned any of those divs anything, I should change that font color, just so we can see the text. It looks like they're just automatically falling into one of my little grid items there. So we're going to start with my header. Okay, so my header, I want it to go all the way across and take up one row. I don't remember how to do that, so let's go and look. Oh, we can also justify our content. There's some sort of flexboxy type of stuff in there. So grid column and grid row is what I want. So I'm going to do a grid column and a grid row. Now, as I said, I've read a bit about this and just looking quickly, I'm pretty sure it's where you're starting and then over 2. I thought that's how far it's going? Where you start and how far you go. I always thought it was where you start and where you're ending. I thought grid column start, grid column end. That's what I thought. So you do the start line and the end line. So my column is going from 1 to 12. Do I just put a space or do I have to do it over? I think it's like 1 over 12. 1 over 12. And my grid row, I might not have to put it because it's just like a 1 over 1, right? Or is it 1 over 2? I always see first, line 2, line 3. I'm going to make a mistake here. Let's go just look here. You can also say like span to. Start and I'm going to screw this up. I shouldn't be using... Oh, I sort of got it. So you can see this is going from here. Let's give my header a background of pink. So you can see there it's going... Yeah, it's starting at here, and then it's ending at the 12th line, I think, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1. So if I have to put this at 13 then? That's kind of awkward when you have 12 columns that you have to do 13, but it's where are you stopping? I'm stopping there. And again, we could be doing this like grid column start, you're starting at 1, and then grid column end, where are you ending? But I think learning the shorthand is going to be easier in the long run. So I'll leave like that. Then let's go on to my main content. So my main content should be a grid column. So I don't want it to start at 1. I want it to start at 1, 2, 3. And I want it to go... so it's starting here, and it's going 1, 2... How many am I going over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going 5 over. So if it's starting, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that make sense? 3 to 8. So it's not like a 3 over 8. It's from 3 to 8. And we'll give that a background. Background of yellow. Awesome, that worked. Cool. That's so neat. And I'm just going to do one more thing on my container. Margin top of like 300 pixels. Whoa, 100 then. Okay, there we go. That looks better. You're a bit clumsy, Udovic, when it comes to CSS. So you never played with this kind of grid. Yeah, I don't think... Oh, see, I screw... I'm going to refresh. Something looks weird. I'm sticking off the side here. Why are things sticking off the side? Okay, we'll figure that out in a minute. I'm just going to get it set up first. If you are not used to the grid... Oh. What if I did this at 2? That's going to be super awkward. No, it's not. Okay. It's because of the grid gap. The grid gap is causing a bit of an issue there. If I turn off my inspector thing, you wouldn't even notice. Maybe it's just the inspector. I'll figure it out. Yeah, if you're not used to CSS, I don't know if I'd jump right into building custom grids like this, but it's definitely worth... It's going to be where things go from now. I think it's going to become... Right now, it's too cutting edge. The browser support's not there for it to be super big. Can I just do a grid span? Grid... How do you do the span? Span 2. So grid column span 3. I think that worked. And background is orange. So that's a little, just using the span in this case might be easier than saying like start here and end here. And even maybe in this case, grid column start is 3, and then can I just do a span 5? No, that doesn't work. So I can do a grid, oh yeah, that makes sense. A grid column start of 3, and then a grid column, you can use end, start end gap column, auto column. Can I just do it here? Can I do it? Span 5? Oh, but that's overwriting this because this is the shorthand. So I'd have to do, but I can't do this then? How did they do it? I'm sure they had one with a span in there. Oh, 3. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, that's a little bit easier. You start here, and then this is how much space you're taking up. I sort of like that better. I find that easier. So if I did a 1 over span 12. Yeah, that's the same thing. Okay, that makes more sense. So start at 1, span to 12. What if I did 3? Okay, so it ends up being the same. So span 4. I just want to see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if you just happen to go too big, it won't. Oh no, it screws everything up. Okay. And start 1. What if I just did span 12? Okay, so if it's starting at the beginning, you don't have to give it a span. Or the thing, you just have to say how much you want it to span. I sort of like the span one. It's easier to count for me. Yeah. So, okay, cool. That's looking pretty good. We just have the last one to do, which is really easy. I'm just wondering if I need... Okay, so those I'm going to leave like that. They automatically fell onto the second one because they didn't have room up here. But these ones I want to force down. So I think when I do my left, I'm going to have to do a grid, row, start. I'm guessing it's 3. Yeah, that worked, and it brought it down to here. I'm wondering this weird problem being caused. I'm just curious. 2, save. I don't think this is going to change anything, but I just want to see. Huh, that actually made the right side come over to there, which is weird. Okay. So left, so I have to say this, well, I can do left and right. That's probably a bit better, right? They're both starting there. And then, can I do, no, I can't. I was hoping. So I can do left, grid, row. Actually, I can keep it all on the same stuff then, right? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I can do a grid column span 4. I'll give them both a background of purple so we can see them. And then I can just do my left has the grid row start, or is this going to screw everything up? Of 2. That's going to screw everything up. Yeah, I thought so because I'm overwriting stuff. Oh, that's row. I wanted column. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. Okay, so I can't do it like that. Grid row. What? Why did I do start 3? Oh, that's my row, column. Span 4. Is there a way I can... Because the problem here is if I did a grid... Say I did like you're starting at 3, they're going to overlap each other. My right side and my left side are on top of each other because they're both doing that. They're both using the same stuff here. And I don't want it to use the same, so okay. I'm just going to get rid of that. And I'm going to have to do it. Left is grid column 3 span 4. And my right is just a grid column span 4. There we go. So that works. Cool. Okay. That's all right. And then just for fun, let's just go up to here and say this is 2, so it should become twice as big. Cool. Now the one thing I think I didn't do very efficiently here is I have like the 2 empty ones and the 2 empty ones, and if anybody, Ed, if you know what I did wrong here, or if it's just, it could just be the developer tools that are showing it a little weird. Oh no, okay, it seems okay. I think it's just the developer tools that are showing it as a little bit off, maybe because of my grid gaps, I'm not sure. But it seems when I turn that off and I look here that it's all fitting in the space properly. So that's cool. So I can do the repeat 12, but I really think I could have that as like a 1. Those 2 as like single ones, just because I always have them as like empty space in my layout. So I feel like I'm not being, and I also have some side scrolling for some reason. Does my body just need margin 0? Why is it side scrolling? I'm not going to stress about it too much. That's weird. 960, margin 0 auto. It shouldn't be side scrolling. Body, do I have anything weird on my body? No, margin 0. Huh. That's interesting. I'm not sure what's happening there. Oh well, I'm not going to stress about it again. So that took me like half an hour. That's not too bad, just to get the basics down. So that was fun. Okay, so I'm going to open up my Photoshop design for what I want to actually do now, because that didn't take me too long at all. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do here, and I'm actually going to draw some boxes to make my life easier. I'm going to just have this as like a big background area. I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm going to make my grid in here. So this is going to be my grid area. I thought I might have done this already, but I'm not sure. Let's go look at my layers. Did I break this up? I was thinking about doing it, but I don't think I did. No. Okay. So what I want to do, I want one block here. And let's just, whoops, I don't want to do that. I just want to lower the opacity. Okay, so I have that there. I'm going to have one here. That's smaller. So that's going to be something like that. One here. A big one here, because I can get away with that. Now, I might be looking at this completely the wrong way. Let's make, whoops, this would be 20%. I can bring that same thing there. Same thing here. Make that darker. So something like that, and then I need 1, 2, 3 columns. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows and 3 columns that I'm going to need. Yeah? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what we're going to try and do. And I'm just going to delete this all of this crap that I did, because this was just playing around to see what I could do. So let's save that. That's all gone. This is all fine. And my index, I want to get rid of this. Save. So we're going to start from scratch. Okay, so yeah, that background image, we won't worry about it yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and what am I going to do? We're going to do, I'll call it container again, actually. So then in my container, I'm going to have my header area thing up here, which will be my team. So I think I'll just do that as my H1, our team. Then I'm going to have my team member. Can I just do this team member and then I'll just do member 1. That makes sense? Team member and member 1. And I'll just do it times 3 on that. No, it won't, because I have stuff to put in here. So member actually, yeah, we'll just do this. Team member and then member 1, and we'll have a 2 and 3. Inside each one of those, I have an image plus an H2 plus an H3 plus a paragraph. Image slash, what did I call them? I made this a long time ago. I was planning on, oh no, I didn't. Can I rename them in here? Rename member 01. That was silly of me not to have the proper names. This one's rename member 02. Also PNGs. I should have saved these as JPEGs, but that's okay. Member 03. Oh no. That's okay. Their pictures are switched. I don't mind. Okay. Close and close. So image member 01.png. Whoops. .png. The text here is Johnnerson, lead designer, and some lorem ipsum. There we go. So let's save that, see if it's working. Yes, it is. Cool, good. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Is it? Is that what that looks like? Oh yeah, it just should have been all caps. Okay. Okay, I think it's working okay then. And now I'll copy this. Copy. Paste. Paste. The chat's awfully quiet. I see there's people in there. You guys are allowed to chat away, say hi, comment on what I'm doing, anything at all. Don't be shy, please. So my H2 is Sally Jones, who is a developer, and Vicky Smith, who is the photographer. Okay, and now the fun will start. If I get through this faster than I won't get through this faster than I thought. This is going to take me a little bit, I think. Can I see the R team up there? Okay, it's there. I just need to put a drop shadow on that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm thinking. Let's just style it a little bit to start with. Let's go back to my H1. Actually, H1 box text shadow. I don't know, 5 pixels, 5 pixels, 15 pixels, black just for now. 10 and 10. And black's way too dark. RGBA 0, 0, 0.25. That's all right. There we go. Okay, so our team, my body can get the background image, I guess. Background URL our team bg.png, background size of cover. Okay, cool, good. Oh no, something's not working. Oh, I forgot my semicolon. There we go. Good, good, good. So that is, first image is member 1. Oh, member, whoops. Thank you, Harry. Harry? Sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Harry. What did I put? Whoa, okay, rename. Thank you for that. Oop, that didn't work. Rename. There we go. Save. There we go. Better. Okay, cool. So back to my... I'll do this one in layout just because it's stuff I haven't done yet. Demir, you don't want to disturb me. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm... With these with the live ones, I plan on going a little bit longer. I don't mind getting a little sidetracked and stuff if ever it happens. Don't be shy. I'd like to see you guys chatting away. Sheldon, where do I get the inspiration? In this case, I did get it from... I put the link here. I don't remember where I kept it, and we're staying with Firefox. So I actually got it from somebody else. This one itself, I saw... Where is it? There we go. I saw this and liked it, so I wanted to do something similar. So that's where I got that. A lot of the time, I actually have a Pinterest account where I'll take just whenever I'm bored and I have a few seconds, I go on there and just pin random web design stuff I like. And I've come from a print background, so when I was doing a lot of print work, I just collected lots of cool stuff, and then you try not to copy it, but to use ideas you see elsewhere in your own application, because it's always going to be different when you're doing it for your own thing than someone else. Now when I try and do my designs, a lot of the time what I'll do is I look at as much stuff as I can, I get some cool ideas, but then I put them all away on the side for like a day, and then I start designing. So all these ideas are sitting in my head, I'm thinking about them a little bit, but they're not like, I'm not copying exactly what people have done, because all those ideas have had some time to like float around in my head, and I sketch things out, especially for layouts. I do a lot of sketching for my layouts. To get me where you're started, because the first thing you think of usually isn't the best. So each one of my team members, let's go with team member, needs to have a border of like, I don't know, 5 pixels solid white. They need to have a background that is, I don't know what my colors were. Where's my colors? Primary, maybe? I made this a long time ago. Yeah, it is primary. Good. Okay. Do I need anything else? The sizes are all going to get... Oh, that's going to be a problem for my images. Maybe. Sizing my images properly and responsively might... There's something I can use, but I forget what it is. It's something I just read about that looked awfully exciting. Anyway, but that's okay. Let's just go back to my Photoshop for 1 second. The white border needs to be bigger. Let's do like 12. So that looks good. The text, I'm just going to go back to my basics for a second because I forgot on my H2 to do a text transform uppercase. Cool. That looks okay. And all of this can be text align center. This should be italic. That's my H2. Why is it not italic? Or is that my H3? That's my H3. Font style. There we go. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Sheldon, your design and layout are amazing, especially the Rock Band. Yeah, I'm really happy with the Rock Band one, actually. That's one... I find making layouts without real content is hard. So that's one where I did a lot of just looking around and trying to get ideas. But I come from a design background, so that obviously helps. At one point, I do want to do some more series on design, especially maybe some typography stuff and some small details things that can make websites look a lot nicer. But I'm not really sure what to do for those yet. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Or if anybody else in the chat is interested about design stuff, please let me know, because I enjoy design. That's what I do. Or I teach more design than web. Online is more web, and I'm also a teacher, so in the classroom it's more design stuff. Okay, so I think those are okay. My spacing's a little bit off. I can fix all that up later. But I want to focus on my layout now. So did I put that? I did do it in a container. Okay, so my container is going to be a display grid. Now, I said it's going to be 3 columns. So if it's 3 columns, that would be grid columns. Template columns. There we go. Repeat 3, 1 FR. Ah, awesome. Good. That worked. So I'm having 3 columns, 1 FR. They're all equal spacing. That's awesome. Then I'm going to have my grid gap. Is it just grid gap? I think my gap everywhere is going to be the same. Let's just go look really fast again in Photoshop. It's a little bit bigger here than here, but I don't know. We'll just go with like a 1M for now. That looks okay. Cool. I should have probably not just put an image up here, just because looking at my spacing, I maybe should have split that into 2 things so I can put some padding on those. Yes, would love that. Okay, so I guess some design stuff you guys might like to see. So I'll try and figure out some things I could do on design once I wrap up. I have a few other little things I want to cover once I finish my Bootstrap series. And then after that, maybe I'll do a little series or a run through on some design stuff that could be fun. While we're talking about it, would you like to see the design in Photoshop or design tips and tricks in the code, like when building the website? Because I could easily do either one. I want to start playing with Adobe XD as well, but I haven't got around to really getting into it. And on the Windows, I don't think it's up to par with where the Mac one is yet. And either way, they're not up to par where Sketch is yet either. So now I need my my rows, right? So my grid template rows. This is where it's more complicated. Because I think how I want to do this, I'm just not sure about like how to decide how big to make each one, other than just measuring it. But if I give it an actual pixel value, that's kind of awkward. I'm gonna try just doing a repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Auto for now, because I'm not quite sure how the auto works. So we're gonna find out. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna see how that works. I'm gonna give this a class of title. In the code, I want code tricks. Photoshop, then from Photoshop to the code to see how I do it. Also would love to see a vintage style. Cool. So yeah, I think I'll focus more on the code, but explaining my design along the way, maybe. Or anyway, we'll see. Maybe I might do. I design it in Photoshop in one video and then code it a little bit like I did in one of my other series. I think. Didn't I do that in one series? If I haven't, I'll do that. Maybe one video of the design followed by several videos of the coding. So if people aren't interested in the Photoshop, they can just skip that video. So that's cool. So I'm going to do my title. Harry, in the code, maybe you could show some tips and tricks in Photoshop. Yeah, so I think mostly in the code with like a little bit of Photoshop stuff thrown in would be handy. So my title should be a grid. Actually, could I skip the title one? I'm just curious here. Team member. All of these should be starting on the second row. So if I did a grid row start of 1, 2. So my title still needs grid row, grid column, span 2. Does it not fit in 2 columns? Let's turn my grid on now that I have one. 1, 2. That should grid column 1 span 2. It was working. I didn't save after I added the class to my title. Ah, except this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work because I don't want them all starting at the same spot. Sheldon, code and explain the design. Okay, yeah, I could definitely, I'll try and make some videos where I'm looking more at the design. I think I'm going to do a typography one at the very least, where I'm exploring some typography ideas, because there's some fun stuff we can do in the code using some pseudo elements and stuff. I've been sort of planning a series on that for a long time. I didn't really know how to work it in. I keep getting a side scroller. If any, I I don't have a width on any. That might just be because my image size. Yeah, okay, it's just my images are too big-ish. Maybe? Something weird's going on with that. I'm gonna have to figure this out. Okay, anyway, my layout's sort of coming together. But I don't want all these starting at 2. So I'm going to get rid of that. And we have to do, that's why I have 3 team members. So dot team member, or it was member 1. Member 0, 1. Two and 3. Yeah, and more votes for in the code, design tips and tricks in the code from Demir there. So yeah, I'll focus on doing it in the code then. So he is there. He is starting. Where's he starting? He's starting on the 3rd one. So that's a grid row start. Oops, I don't need a period there. Grid row start of 3. Member 0, 1. Oops, I'm not consistent with all this stuff. Save. So he's starting on the 3rd one. You're starting on the 2nd one. Is this going to screw everything up? Member 2. Member 2, I copied and pasted. And member 3. That's okay. And you're starting on... Actually, you might be starting there. Oh no, yeah, 2 and then 4. Grid row start of 4. Now everything's screwed up because they're starting in the wrong spots. Maybe I completely screwed this up and I don't by the way, is that a plugin for Atom that completes your tags? Yes, that's Emmet. I always forget how to get to the settings. Settings. And packages, and that's going to take forever to load, so we'll get back to that in a second, but it's called Emmet, where you write just dot whatever, push tab. Oh wait, completes the tags. Yeah, for my tags. Yeah, that's for Emmet. Oops. Okay, so now with my column starts, I think this will fix it. I really hope it does. So grid, column. Okay, so member 1 is going from 1... Grid column start of 1. Can I just do that? Number 2 is starting at number 2. Good. And oh, I screwed up my numbers here. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah. And okay, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. And grid column start is number 3. Okay, good. So they're spaced out, but now I just need. And now we're going to do my ends. So we'll start with the 2nd one. Grid, column, end. Wow, this is... Anyway, let's see. So my 2nd one, I know the pictures are backwards. The 2nd one is going 1, 2, 3. So... not column, this should be grid row, end. Yeah, Emmet. Let's go look. Settings, where is it? Emmet, there it is. So you can just do a quick search for that. And look up the if you get into Emmet, I don't use it to its full potential at all. I definitely suggest looking up the documentation on Emmet because it's super powerful. Grid row end is so it's starting at 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going down to number 5. Ha! Yes. Okay, good. It looks really stretched out, but I think once we fix the rest of them, it will not be so stretched out. So grid row end for this guy. My autos aren't going to work, though. The spacing here is not going to be what I wanted it to be, but well, I don't think anyway. Grid row end is going to be... so we're going... He's starting at 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your grid row end should be number 6. So the offset is there, and then this one should be a grid row end of 7 then, right? Does that make sense? Oh, my auto did work. Oh, except that's too big. Should that... What? It sort of worked, but not quite. But I think it's... So here I have... Let's just go look at my Photoshop again. I think it's what I want. I'm just not controlling it properly because I have it set to auto for the heights. Where's my Photoshop? There we go. So there should be a gap of 1 there, which there is. A gap of 1, 2 here, which there is. The problem is I want these two to actually be equal. And these to be equal. Maybe what I need to do... Okay, so let's go find my rows. So my rows, I'm going to do auto for the top, 1 FR, 1 FR, because I want this and this to be equal, and auto for the middle, 1 FR, 1 FR. And I don't, this might be me not knowing how FRs and everything work. Clearly not. We're getting closer. They're all the same size now. You can see like the spacing on everything looks much better. But this 1 FR thing's not working. Because with auto and not controlling my height, what if I just did like 3 FR? I'm just curious. That's sort of more what I want. That was just like a random guess in the dark. That this one, you can sort of see it. It's hard to see the colors, but this is one block here. And it's hard to see that it's taller, you know, it's 3 times bigger than the other ones, but that's just me taking a like sort of a guess in the dark. And I'm not sure if I like the idea that I'm just taking a guess in the dark. And how come when I made it 4 it didn't change? Like what if I make that 10? Shouldn't everything... That's actually... Okay, let's make that like a little bit more like a... That's interesting. It's working. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's just turn off my grid and make my browser bigger. Of course, I have to limit the total size here because it's getting way too wide, and I have to figure out why I have this giant side scroll. So, oh, that might be actually from the team, right? No? I thought maybe that was doing it. Why is my container just really big? Not even. My body's not really big. Could you re-explain what the FR stands for? I didn't pay attention. No problem. The FR is, I think it's called a fraction. And it's pretty much, it's taking up the available space. So if you have something that's just 1 FR, like say I had, right now, let's turn my grid back on. And let's just make this like 300 pixels for now. It's going to screw up my layout probably. Or 500 then. Oh, I see why. Okay, what if I did 100? Because that will probably make everything bigger. Okay, good. So I could even make this one 1 FR probably. So right now 1 FR, 1 FR, 1 FR, 1. These are all equal. So they're all, you can see, I just make, let's just do 1 FR for everything. So the height of all of them right now, because I'm on my rows, each one of these blocks has the same height to it. If I take one of them, so I'll just take my first one because it's going to be easy to see, and I switch that over to a 2, it's going to be twice as big as all my other ones. And it's always using the available space overall. So if you had it in a limited amount of space, it's using the available space. And then if one of these, like let's just say it's 2, this one's like 500 pixels. This one becomes 500 pixels, so this one row is 500 pixels tall. And then these, again, they're just using up the available space, and they're an equal amount of unit. Will overflow not fix it? Yeah, I could probably play with my overflow. I don't want to play with my overflow just because I want to understand. Let's just go back a little bit. I think I liked it a little like that. I just don't like that I'm guessing here, but let's make that one maybe a 3. Is that going to make them all bigger? Yeah. Yeah, overflow would probably fix it. Let's just do one thing with my container. Let's just give this a width of, I don't know, 80% of my screen, of a margin of 0 auto. Let's see what that does. So I obviously have something that I did wrong. What the heck did I do wrong? Because if my container... Oh, it's over... Why is it overflowing out the side? Okay, so you can see my container's there, and then my title's okay. But you can see here, okay, that's my container highlighted. There's my container highlighted, and I'm pointing to my screen. You probably can't see. It's my stuff inside is overflowing out of it. My images are not responsive. I'll just go back to my basics because I should have done this in here. We'll just do it here. Image with max width 100%, height auto. I still have side scrolling, but I got what I wanted. Except our team, my font size is too big. Basics. Here's a cool thing that I learned. I want to make a video about this. I did a video already, 9 rem. So my font size is in rem. You can set font size, and I have a video about this. Say I did 5 vertical width. That's going to be too small, eh? 10. Which can be cool, but when you have vertical width as a unit, your font can get really massive on big screens, and on small screens get really, really tiny. And you might not want it to get that affected as you're moving stuff around. So you can actually do, say I do a calc, and then I do 5 rem plus 3 vertical width. Let's make that 6 maybe. So it's starting at 6, and then I'm adding or I'm just adding a little bit of vertical width to it. So as my screen adjusts, it still grows and shrinks. So the text is sort of responsive to my screen, but it's less responsive than it was. And I read that on CSS Tricks, and I'm really happy I did. But let's just make that a 4 then. I wanted it really big, but I also don't want it to break at small screen sizes. Because you can see here it's taking up exactly those 2 columns. So it's going to snap. Oh, no, that's perfect. Because of my vertical width thing, it started getting smaller again, and it worked. But I'm still getting this nasty side scrolling going on. Why is this one bigger than my other ones now? I'm running into all sorts of problems. My background, I don't think it's just a background image. Let's turn it off just for fun. Body. No, it's still there. I didn't think that would do it. I'll find that out in a second. I'm used to debugging weird stuff like this. So the 2 things that are bugging me, this one's currently bigger than those 2. So let's go look at why. Each one should be 1 FR. Okay, so now I do need to dive into my code here. Team member 1. 3, is it because... No, but that shouldn't do it. If I look at the grid, can I like... I can see the column gaps. I was hoping I could break this apart a little more. So my rows are working okay. Are they? Sort of. Oh, it's because his name's over 2 lines. Let's just see. I'm just curious, actually. Is it going to let me do this? I just want to see in Chrome what happens. I don't have any side scrolling. It's maybe Firefox that's causing this. He's still... Oh, it's because his bloody name is bigger. That damn name is too big. So it's causing some issue. And it makes sense that here I'm just running out of room. They're not getting any smaller because their names are a certain size. So now it's getting some issues. And I could fix that with some media queries. I can play with it for media queries so they stack at one point instead. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, Sheldon, it does look hectic and annoying. I sort of agree with you right now. I'm not doing a good job of selling it at the moment. I won't lie, but I do think part of my problem here actually is, see there, it's gone. With the inspect element open for some reason, when I put the grid on, no, and it's not doing it now. Weird. Okay, so I don't even know what caused it. I do agree that the grid does look hectic and annoying. I'm not sure this is either the best example that I chose to do with it, but I do think it's one of those things that's probably a little bit more complicated, but once you wrap your mind and get used to using it, and I think part of it, I know for me, Flexbox, which I use as much as I can, is already kind of, I'm still referring back to cheat sheets and stuff when I'm using it, just to make sure I'm using the right properties everywhere. So it's one of those things where I think as we wrap our mind around this, it's going to make a lot more sense. Again, I don't know if this was the best use of it. I just thought it'd be easy with like the 1 space, no space, 2 space thing. It intrigued me a little bit. For doing big layouts that are less fragmented, that don't have as complicated of as a grid, it'd probably be a little bit better. So like that first example, we have something that stretches all 3. Then you have your main content area that's something like this. And then you could have some sidebar little things or something like that. I think might be a better application for it. But even now, like watching this, as you can see, I have been struggling a little bit, obviously. But it's not as bad as I thought it would be, actually, just because there is a lot to it. And I haven't even been going through everything in here. There is, there's justifying content and aligning content within and stuff like that you can do, which is cool too, this I think would work a lot like how Flexbox does. Even align self is very Flexboxy. Yeah, and just aligning stuff inside the grid. I think that stretching content, aligning stuff, I think that it's one of those things that might be a bit annoying at the beginning, but I'm not going to go through all that, but as we get used to it, I think it's going to be useful. But I agree right now, my example, whoops, I should bring this back up. I might not be doing the best example, but now that I've actually got this, I'm kind of happy with it. I've had some issues with Firefox when I had the dev tools enabled on a different site. Yeah, it's really weird. Maybe it's because it's the sort of the developer version. So there's possibly some bugs, but the URL, I can't read it on my screen. The URL for which, Brian? I've in the description below is the URLs for the ones I'm using, anything I'm using. For this one that's on now, it's not actually live. This is just local hosts, whatever, it's hosted locally on my computer. But I'll upload this with GitHub or something like that, just so you guys could take a look at it and play around with it for sure on your own once this is done. I'm also going to re-upload the whole stream in higher quality, hopefully, because I know it seems to be, well, some people are in 720, but if you're not at 720p, it might be kind of blurry. So yeah, the description for everything, any of the links for stuff is in the description below, so you should be able to get what you need in there, hopefully. Yeah, the CSS tricks one. There's two, grid by example and CSS tricks. I think they're both in, the CSS tricks one is this one, and which is awesome. And then the grid by example is this here, except that was just looking at an example, but they do have actual examples that you can sort of explore. And you can see here, this is where I was talking about, where like you can do some more interesting stuff. And I think combined with Flexbox, and also there's the possibility of overlapping stuff, which is really cool. I don't know if there's an example here. But it's going to become really easy to overlap content, which is going to be kind of neat. I might break everything in trying to do this, but if I want these two to overlap, my columns, let's say I did 4 columns. Or actually, let's just do, I'm going to do 1 FR, 15 pixels, 1 FR, 1 FR. So it's going to break everything. which is okay. But I just need to change a few numbers. Number 2 is ending at grid row span 2. Does that make sense? Clearly not. Why not? Oh, because it's start. Whoops. So grid column end would be 4. There you go. So you can see I can overlap content really, really easily, which is, in this case, isn't the best example of something. Column start is, say I do a 4, grid column end 6, 5. And here maybe my 1 has a grid column end of 2, 3. There we go. So you can see, like, and then if I put a drop shadow, box shadow 0, 0, 10 pixels black just for demo purposes, and I turn off the display grid here. You know, it's probably not the prettiest example, but it becomes really easy to overlap content like this, which could be really, you can get some cool effects like that. Or I saw an example where it was like you had the 4 things next to each other and then this like diamond thing that was overlapping them in the middle that was really neat. Alex, I'm using, oh, Brian, I'm glad you got the links there. And Alex, I'm using Prepros, which is right here. So it's compiling my CSS, auto refreshing, and it also does a bunch of other stuff. So there's the live preview. You can sync browsers with it. And it can do your Sass and any other things. It can also minify your CSS and uglify your JS, and it handles Markdown and a bunch of other stuff. So it's just easier than using the command line for everything. So I like it. I'll add the description below maybe. Here, prepros.io. That's what I'm using. If you're on it's on Mac and PC. CodeKit is what most people seem to use on Macs, though. So if you're on a Mac, as far as I know, it does pretty much the same thing as Prepros. So yeah, for I guess also maybe you can see now that my grid is set up, it actually becomes pretty interesting to come through and make modifications to it. So say let's just add another 15 pixel. You know, it breaks everything, but then I just have to change a little bit. So she's ending at maybe a 5 now, if that makes sense. And then she's starting at 4 and ending at 6. Again, it's just, you can create like these overlaps and stuff like that. So I agree, I was definitely struggling a little bit at the beginning. But now that, you know, I haven't played with this for very long, and already I find it's more intuitive, I think, than it looked. And if I definitely have to play with this more. It's not something I'm super comfortable with yet in the least, but I think the more I play with it and the more comfortable I get with it, it could definitely be a really powerful design tool, because you can just make this really quick, fast layout for how you want to lay things out, and then things will just fall into place. I wouldn't use this for everything. I'm using this for the main layout, and then inside of that, I'm doing things as I always did with Flexbox. And even like our team, I could probably do grid row end 2. And then align self. It's not flex though. See, I knew align self. I recognized it from Flexbox. Justify self. No, I want the align self. That's kind of annoying that it's the same property. Oh, but that's not gonna. Is it gonna work? Let's find out. End. Is this gonna work? Oops. Where's my grid? Grid row end 2. So my title should. It's not though. Grid row 3. What happened? Why is it shooting over there? 1, okay. And then if I make that a 2, what happens? But why if I make that a 3 does that happen? Because I'm looking at rows, I shouldn't be playing with my columns. Grid column 1. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's what I was after. Does Z-index work with this? I don't know. Ah, cool. Okay, so because I wasn't telling it where it was starting, it seemed to be causing some issues. So start at 1, span across 3, which I need because I have a little one down the middle there. And let's just turn off my grid now again. See, I need to play around with this. I don't really like how that's looking exactly, but again, you could easily overlap stuff much better, I think, than position absolute. And you could always make something in here position relative and then the elements inside of that position absolute. It just lets you break out of the normal sort of stuff we were stuck in. So I think it's, yeah, I think we're going to be able to get some really awesome designs now. I was always sort of, especially coming from a print background, I always felt a little bit limited at certain times with what we could do, or I knew you could do it, but you didn't want to do it because it would just be hell. I think this is going to open up some really cool design print ideas that we'll be able to use in the long run. Especially, and again, experiment with it for now. Browser support isn't, well, it's everywhere, but only in its cutting edge. So I had can I use open before? How good is the support? Yeah, it's global says 70%. That's not too bad, guys. And it's on prefix, which is awesome. The fact that nobody needs a prefix for it. Apart from, of course, these guys who need partial support with a prefix, but with all the real browsers, it doesn't need any prefixes and stuff. Yeah, they support it, Internet Explorer and Edge, but apparently it's an older version of the spec, so probably some of the words are a little bit different and stuff. Oh, it seemed like there were bugs with overflow, but they were all with, Firefox had some too, so maybe that's sort of what's going on. It says it's not in the current version, but you never know. And yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I wasn't sure how long this would take, but I seem to have gotten through everything I wanted to. I could fix up my design a little bit, I guess, but this was really just to play around with this a little bit. So, yeah, I'm kind of happy with it. I have this. Let's close this down again and refresh just to see. Yeah, there's no overflow. It's the small sizes I need to build some media queries into at one point, just because, but this is where it's getting ridiculous anyway. And you can build a media query where it's completely changing its behavior. You could just turn off the grid even, I'm guessing, and they just all of a sudden stack, or you could change your template columns and your template rows with all the real browsers. So I think, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I could play around with on this. Oh, they're too tall now, eh? That's okay, though. I added some rows in, so this, I guess, would become a 6, a 4, and a 5 now. Nope. Never mind. I just have to play around with some stuff. I screwed something up along the way. But if you are going to play with it, I really suggest for now using the Firefox developer one. Developer edition, just because it's the only browser right now that lets you turn on this little grid thing, which is awesome. It really does help you see what's going on and understand why your layout's not really working, if ever it's not working. So I would suggest doing that. Oh, it's because I made this second. No, actually, I don't know why my alignment all went off. It must have been when I was playing around with something. Opera Mini, yeah. I agree. Opera Mini is actually something that you do have to take into account. And I'm actually going to talk about, not Opera Mini necessarily, but I found out a cool way of dealing with some stuff that when things aren't supported. It's a teaser for an upcoming CSS features. Feature queries, which is the @supports. It's sort of like a media query, but it's whether or not features are supported. Of course, the features thing isn't there. This @supports isn't always supported, but I will be looking at this a little bit. It's kind of annoying, Opera Mini, because they don't support a ton of stuff, and for most of us, we don't worry about it because a lot of people don't use it. But from what I understand, it's actually kind of popular, which makes sense because for people that are on slow connections, it's probably just tell me like just general support. Saying 2.8% worldwide, 3%. It's more than I don't know. It's around the same as Internet Explorer and Edge. So it's not nobody, but it has minimal support on stuff in general. But this also prevents JavaScript, which is true too. So just Anyway, Opera Mini is always a pain in the butt for me. I'd rather, and it depends what you need to support and who you want to support with your stuff. But for the grid, I probably wouldn't make a site with grid, or if I did, I'd have a fallback using at least Flexbox, because Flexbox support is pretty good right now, almost 98%. Pretty much everything supports Flexbox, so you can get away with doing a Flexbox layout and having the grid and the Flexbox fallback if you really want to. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for coming. There's still 15 of you here, which is pretty awesome. So I really appreciate you all coming in and sticking around. It's been about an hour and a half now, so I need some water and something to, wet my throat a little bit. That was a lot of fun, though. If you want to see more of these live ones, just let me know. I gladly make more live ones. I don't always have a ton of time for it. I do have a full-time job and a family, and I have to make my other videos. So I wanted to do a live video every month. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I will definitely keep making live videos. Yeah, and thank you all so much for coming. I truly do appreciate it. If again, always in the comments below, or if I'm still here right now, so in the chat, if you want to give any suggestions for future videos, by all means, I'm always open to hear what you guys want to say. Just through this, we got into some design stuff coming up. So yeah, I don't really know how to sign off of a live chat. I just keep dragging this out longer and longer. So I guess I'm just going to have to end it. Yudavik, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm glad you've enjoyed it and you've been enjoying all my videos. One live vid every week. I wish I could do that. Maybe if, we got this turned into much bigger and I was doing some other stuff for a living, but my wife would kill me if I tried doing one of these every week. Yeah, so thanks once again. If hopefully the quality was okay for you guys, but if the quality wasn't perfect, I will be re-uploading this, or if you just do want to watch it, it will be up later and hopefully in good quality. And yeah, the Bootstrap series will be continuing in, what day are we today? Monday. I'm gonna have to edit that video soon. I've already recorded it. So yeah, I'll have to be editing that video tonight or tomorrow. Demir, you're welcome. Thanks again to everybody for being here. You guys rock. I really appreciate it, and all the support you've been just giving me in general. It's been really, really awesome. The channel is doing much better than I ever really would have anticipated, so I really, really appreciate it. It went fast. I know, it went really fast, actually. I'm surprised that was an hour and a half. Can you do a website in the future with green sock scroll magic? Scroll magic, I know. I don't know what green sock is, but I'll look into it. Good luck with your JavaScript homework. Yeah, or Java homework. The first language I tried to learn actually was Java back. I think I was like maybe, I don't remember. I remember being young. I saved up some money. I went to the computer store. I bought this massive book on Java. I feel like it was in elementary school, but man, what was I doing? Like grade 6 maybe, but that doesn't, I must have been working on websites already, and for some reason I decided I wanted to learn Java. I couldn't get through the first hello world exercise thing. Like, it just wouldn't work. It wasn't, I don't know what I did wrong. I spent like a week trying to get hello world to print on the screen, and I couldn't do it, and I gave up and didn't touch programming for a long time after that. I wish I'd picked a different language or figured it out what I did wrong, because yeah, that was embarrassing. That was really bad. Yeah, again, thank you all for being here and all the support you've given me, and now I'm off for real. Ciao, guys. I'm off for real if I can figure out how to end the stream, that is. There we go. Ciao. Bye. Thanks. One last time. Oops. Yeah.